Welcome everyone to broadcasting for coverage of the Intensity Racing League short track series tonight. We are at Langley Speedway for some awesome late model racing. So far during practice, we've seen a lot of drivers were having trouble with the track. Langley is a very tricky track, so we'll see how these drivers handle it. I'm your announcer, Atlee Atman Weiss, and joining me tonight to call the action is the race admin, Alex Veith. How you doing tonight, Alex?
Oh, good, Atlee. Excited to see what Langley Speedway is all about. I've never actually raced here, but from what I heard, you got a little bit of experience around this place.
Yes, so far I've raced 3 years, 1 year in flat karts and 2 years in champ karts, in actually not the big track, on that little infield track, so where turn 1 connects with pit road and then it exits back out of turn 4. It's a very weird configuration, but this year I'm going to be racing Bandoleros on the big track, so excited for that. But I'm excited to see what these super late model drivers are going to be doing here. So far, Kyle Meyer has been the fastest in practice and has been looking pretty good with a 15.30 as his fastest time. Daniel Folds is second with a 15.33. Isaiah Gill 15.34. Blake Stallings with a 15.37, and then fifth got Tyler Tomasi with a 1:04.44. We've got 7 cars for this race because a lot of drivers are out due to the Daytona Speed Weeks, either visiting or something else like that.
Yeah, there's been a couple full-length Daytona races going on today. I've been seeing several posts about that in several different Discords.
Right. I mean, I feel like the Daytona Speed Weeks are a big holiday in the racing community. People going out to watch the races, even though there is a limited crowd. But another thing let's take a look at is the point standings after 2 races. We got Brendan Queen on top still. Then only a couple points behind him, 3 points to be exact. We have Tyler Tomasi, 3rd in points is Blake Stallings, and then we got 4th Tillman Hewer, and then 5th in points is Jonathan Thompson. And we can also look at last race's results at Nashville Fairgrounds. It was a pretty good race. Isaiah Gill ended up dominating that race. He got the win. Brendan Queen finished 2nd. Tyler Tomasi 3rd. Kyle Meyer ended up finishing 4th. And Daniel Folds finishing 5th. So that top 5 in points right there. Brendan Queen, Tyler Tomasi, Blake Stallings, and Tillman Hewer, and Jonathan Thompson are all very good, but I believe 2 of those drivers, Brendan Queen and Tyler Tomasi, Brendan Queen and Jonathan Thompson, are not in the field. So we still have Isaiah Gill, but looks like so far Kyle Meyer is going to be the driver to watch. But of course, this is just during practice, as we got qualifying coming up in 10 seconds. Going to let everybody get their final laps done before we get set for qualifying at this tricky Langley Speedway. And woo, getting loose is Kyle Meyer, the leader in practice. Well, I mean, even the leader in practice is having a tough time with this track, but we'll see what happens here in qualifying. Gonna be good on the board, and of course, this is with only 2 laps on the tires, so this is going to be where your car is at the fastest. It does take about 10 laps a lot of times for the tires to really get fully warmed up. See what happens. People going in to ready to start their laps. Tyler Tomasi, Zach Wilson, Blake Stallings. Tyler Tomasi in that number 76. 2nd in points, only 3 points off of Brendan Queen, and Brendan Queen is not here tonight. Of course, there is the drop week, but still, this is a ample opportunity for Tyler Tomasi to get out front and get a win here in the Intensity Racing League Short Track Series. Got some other drivers getting on the field. Got Daniel Folds in the 09, and Tyler Tomasi jumps to the top of the board with a 15.65. He's going to be completing his 2nd lap right here.
Yeah, having that drop week is really nice. Yeah, I mean, you got a chance either if you run all 8 and you have a bad race, that's a race you can shed the bad points. And if you just straight up miss a race, then hey, you're not penalized.
Right, and there's also something called life, and it can, a lot of times, unexpected things pop up. So like you said, I mean, the drop week is pretty good for these drivers. And Daniel Folds had a scorching time of 15.34. That's 0.3 faster than Tyler Tomasi. So he's now the leader. He gets into the wall there. And Kyle
Meyer ties it to the 1,000th.
That was a very, very close one right there. But Kyle Meyer, I think he might be able to improve on his 2nd lap as there he goes across the start-finish line. And he does. 15.33 new leader. But there is our last race winner, Isaiah Gill, in that number 14. He's now getting set for his first timed lap. Put on a show at Nashville, leading pretty much every single lap, and had a huge gap over Brendan Queen at the finish. Let's see how he does at Langley. Ooh, 16.51 so far, the slowest out of the 4 drivers that have gotten on the board. And Langley actually is the shortest track on the Cincinnati Racing League Short Track Series schedule. So we're going to have 60 laps, which is going to be the longest race that we will have. Here's Zach Wilson getting set to put his first time on the board. Nope. This lap right here is gonna be his first time.
Oh!
And he gets loose.
That's not what you want to do with your first time lap.
That's gonna be, see if he can improve on a second. I don't think he has enough momentum from the incident. That's not what you want to see. But again, Langley's very tricky track, so I mean, you hate to see it there. Blake Stallings gets to second. I believe this is going to be his second time lap. Or he might just be, because you can still turn laps in qualifying, even if you've already turned your 2. It doesn't count towards your score, so that gives you some extra practice time.
Yeah, it really gives you a chance to steal some more practice laps. I've done it several times at tracks that I'm not necessarily 100% comfortable with.
Right. Looks like Tillman Hewer is on the board. Ready to see what his lap time is going to be. We're just going to watch Blake Stallings. Oh, like he's blinking a little bit, but I'm going to watch him. There's Tillman Hewer on the board. Or no, he's not on the board. Oh yes, he's currently the slowest out of everyone with 15.78. Let's see if he can improve this second time. And he does, a 15.67, only 200th off of 5th place Tyler Tomasi. I believe that's going to be everyone that is going to be completing a timed lap, as we are now getting set for the race. Here we are, we're gridding.
Yeah, Kyle Meyer and Daniel Folds are about 2 to 3 tenths faster than everybody else. So I foresee these two running away.
Yeah, I think they're going to be battling it out, but watch out for 3rd place Isaiah Gill. Starting 4th is going to be Blake Stallings. Then rounding out your top 5, we have Tyler Tomasi. 6th is Tillman Hewer, and last but not least, we have Zach Wilson. Like everyone is gridding right now. Here's the weather. Got 77 degrees, 56% humidity, partly cloudy, and 2 miles per hour. So it's a nice summer night at a short track.
I cannot wait for summer nights at short tracks. I can tell you that.
I mean, spring and fall is fun, but I mean, night races in the summertime, I mean, it's peak racing.
My short tracks around here aren't paved. Everything's dirt around here.
Still, I mean, dirt is still considered short tracks, and I mean...
Oh, you can't beat it.
Speaking of dirt, we're going to have our first ever Intensity Broadcasting dirt broadcast tomorrow with the Dirt Car series, so make sure if you're interested in dirt, stay tuned and put your notifications on for tomorrow, because we're going to have our first ever dirt race. Should be exciting for that.
You know what they say, Atlee? Dirt is for racing. Asphalt is for getting there.
Exactly. Of course, though, a lot of NASCAR drivers started on dirt before making their way to asphalt.
I mean, look at Kyle Larson. Won 50 sprint car races in his suspension from NASCAR.
Wow.
Including the unofficial Knoxville Nationals.
Like the pace car is moving now, because we're going to take 2 laps for pacing. It is a short track. Get these drivers ample time to warm up their tires. Now we're going to be cutting these guys some slack tonight because this is a fixed setup league, and we've been hearing from drivers that this setup isn't exactly the best for Langley. See how that ends up working out. Starting on the front row, we got Kyle Meyer, Daniel Folds. Here we go.
Isaiah Gill, Blake Stallings, Tyler Tomasi round out your top 5. Tillman Hewitt and Zach Wilson make up your 7-car field. Kick the tires and light the fires. We're going green flag racing.
Green flag is out here at Langley, and already side by side for the lead. Daniel Folds making that high side work. And Kyle Meyer, though, is going to get a great run off of turn 2. Looks like got the 14 of Isaiah Gill making a move under Daniel Folds for second. And he's going to take second place as Daniel Folds is now under attack from Tyler Tomasi. And
He's doing his best. Go ahead.
Tomasi takes third, so Daniel Folds falls all the way to fourth just within 2 laps.
Yeah, he was really struggling trying to hang tough up there in the high line, and he just kind of had to find a place to fall in line.
Definitely at Langley, the low side is the preferred groove for sure. But I mean, I think last race, the high side was actually the preferred groove at Nashville. So a little bit of a change as Isaiah Gill is trying to catch up to Kyle Meyer in that 14 machine. Is getting close to that back bumper.
He's right there.
Now, 2 and 4, compared to a lot of other short tracks that we are going to be racing at in this series, Langley has very, very small banking. Not a lot of banking here, so it's a little bit tricky for these drivers. Compared to Nashville and Five Flags, which were the 2 other tracks that we've raced at, I mean, the banking is just so small.
Yeah, you really compare this place to Nashville, it's like apples to oranges. This place is short front stretch, no banking, and Nashville's got quite a bit of banking for the size of it.
But again, Langley Speedway is going to be the shortest racetrack in length on the schedule at I believe about 0.365 of a mile. We got a battle for third. Daniel Folds is trying to take it back from Tyler Tomasi as he got close to that back bumper.
He's gonna try and make a move down, coming out of 4.
And he dives down.
Gets the inside.
And the inside's the preferred groove, and he took that, and he takes third place over Tyler Tomasi. Tyler Tomasi is fighting back.
Can really see how dependent this track is on braking. Is just look how red hot these rotors are through the wheels.
Glowing red, just like at that road course race last night in the Busch Clash. And there's second place, Isaiah Gill, trying to get up there to Kyle Meyer, but Kyle Meyer has a 7/10 lead over Isaiah Gill as Tyler Tomasi's trying to catch back up to Daniel Folds. With 60 laps, I think by the end of this race, with all the braking that they're doing, I mean, it's going to probably be getting hard to control with around like 10 to go.
Yeah, you have some really tired left foots if you're left foot braking like I do.
But I mean, Tyler Tomasi in that 76, he's great at saving tires. And I have a feeling that he'll be there in the end to put up a fight if all these other drivers hot lap it.
Field's pretty well spread out. There's not much action going on other than I think the 2 closest together are Tyler Tomasi and Daniel Folds at this point.
Of course, though, if they get that much spread out, we might see some lap traffic eventually if they keep going at the rate that they're going at. I think There's a round. So far, Tillman Hewer, who is in last place, is 3 seconds behind Kyle Meyer.
Yeah, it looks like the 14 of Tillman Hewer's just got a little bit of damage there on that right side.
There's Blake Stallings trying to take 5th from Zach Wilson. 77 machine. This time by will be 10 to go before the halfway point. He's just trying to run really, really low. I think after this battle, Blake Stallings' tires are going to be pretty destroyed. With how much, if you're running that much of a low line and with all the braking, I mean, that's going to tear up your tires.
Yeah, he really wants to get by Zach Wilson here.
Because, I mean, if he gets by Zach, then that's going to put him in top 5.
Looks like Zach's just kind of playing it safe and running his laps. Not getting too carried away, not pushing the envelope. Because he spun it out in practice, or not in practice, in qualifying. That's kind of a confidence killer.
And, I mean, a lot of these drivers were also spinning out in practice.
Oh, he's right there. Little bump and run. Not quite. Zach Wilson keeps it straight.
Big Stallings gets to about the rear quarter panel. He stays there. I think in turn 3, he'll get there. He's going to get a good run on the back straightaway and clear him right here. There we go. Blake Stallings moves his way into 5th place.
Don't expect Zach Wilson to go away anytime soon. I really think he's going to make a push and get that spot back in the next 10 or so laps.
Thing is, looks like Blake Stallings is running about a 10th faster, or 2/10 faster than Zach Wilson. So they're running pretty close times. But I mean, you know when a track and setup is tough, when Zach Wilson is struggling. I mean, Zach Wilson's a very good driver. He can drive pretty much anything.
Yeah, this is, as far as percentage of the field goes, this is the furthest down I've ever seen him run.
And also, this is the first time that Kyle Meyer has ever been in the lead this race. And also, Kyle Meyer last race had, 14 of Isaiah Gill gets loose entering 1. What a save by him. That's the first real spin that we've seen.
Yeah, he dirt cars that thing in there, 4-wheel slide. That was quite the catch.
And that made it so that Daniel Folds is able to catch up to him as he taps that back bumper, Isaiah Gill. Remember at the start, Daniel Folds started in 2nd place, and then he fell all the way to 4th. He made it by Tyler Tomasi, and right now he's working on Isaiah Gill.
Just past halfway.
Now, we do have 1 extra set of tires here, and if we do see a caution...
Oh, big slide.
Speaking of caution, man, he got very, very loose. Little bit of damage. He hits the cone. Tyler Tomasi is making the pass over Isaiah Gill. And Isaiah Gill, that's the 2nd time that he's gotten really, really loose. The tires are starting to get a little bit hard to control.
Yeah, it seems like he's still trying to drive it on the ragged edge on 30-lap old tires. And they just don't quite hang on quite that well.
Tyler Tomasi's starting to increase his gap over the 14 of Isaiah Gill. Looks like Tillman Hewer has gone a lap down as we were looking at this battle. He should be coming by these guys pretty soon. so far, it's pretty amazing what Kyle Meyer has done so far tonight. Led every single lap, has a 2-second lead over second place Daniel Folds, and if this race keeps on going his way, we might see him in victory lane in 24 laps.
Yeah, he's had it relatively easy. I mean, they're pretty well, he's been left alone from the drop of the green flag.
Saw it in practice. He was the leader in practice. He had the fastest time in qualifying, and now he's the leader of this race with a 2-second lead, so I don't know. Isaiah Gill is trying to catch back up to Tyler Tomasi, but I don't know. I mean, with those 2 spins, it might be hard for him to get back up. There's Blake Stallings, who finally made it by Zach Wilson a couple laps ago. We're nearing 20 to go, and the leader crosses the stripe.
Been a pretty tame race so far. I mean, we had 1 bump and run and 2 big slides.
Right, but again, I mean, we do have a 7-car field due to a lot of drivers being at Daytona this week with the Daytona Speed Weeks.
So who are you taking to win the 500, Atlee?
Taken to win the 500. Well, my favorite driver, for favorite driver-wise, Martin Truex Jr. But for my pick, I'd say Alex Bowman is my pick to win the Daytona 500. Either Alex Bowman or another odd pick for me would be Kyle Larson.
I can see Young Money doing pretty well. I'm sure he's going to want to come out and make a statement. But I'm going to go, favorite driver-wise, I'm going to have to go with our 2020 NASCAR Monster Energy Cup champion, Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, he did great this season, making it into the Final Four, and then ends up picking up the championship win. It was a shame that Kevin Harvick, despite how many wins he had with 9, wasn't able to get into the Final Four.
Yeah, it just goes to show when playoff implications are put in, it really calls for consistency down the stretch.
Back to the race. Again, let's talk about the setups. I mean, as bad as the setup is, it's important to note that everyone currently is running the same setup, which is basically means that it's basically putting everything in the hands of the driver for their performance, and that means that Kyle Meyer just is a really good driver, as Daniel Folds is able to get into second by Tyler Tomasi. As Isaiah Gill has fallen to 5th as Blake Stallings passed them. Isaiah Gill, after 2 spins, has fallen way behind.
Yeah, it's like he used up all his tires trying to run down the leaders.
You're nearing 10 to go as we fly by the field to see where your favorite driver is. Make sure to tell us in the comments, in the chat, who you're rooting for, or whether it's someone you actually know, or you can just do a blind pick. Who's your prediction? I mean, for me, it's pretty obvious. My prediction is that Kyle Meyer has just been putting on a show. He's got 2-second lead. And as long as he's able to manage his tires, then I think he might be able to win this. But he is running much, much slower than he was his fastest time. It's about, I'd say, 7/10 slower than his fastest time right now, Kyle Myers.
Yeah, his fastest lap was a 15.4, and he's running pretty consistent 16 flats, 16 ones. So, yeah, the tire fall off is there.
But still, he's the fastest car on the track, regardless of tire fall off. With close behind. Daniel Folds has last lap was a 16.27. Blake Stallings, 16.22. Blake Stallings is actually narrowing his way towards Tyler Tomasi. But there we go, crossing the stripe. It's gonna be 5 to go for Kyle Meyer. All he's gotta do is 5 laps. Stay calm. Don't wanna risk it too much. Just take it slow, but not too slow to the point where Daniel Folds catches up to you. And he's still got a 2.5 second lead over Daniel Folds as we are now 4 to go. There's second place Daniel Folds in that 09 machine. Can't even see her, you can, but far away is Tyler Tomasi. Also very far away in his rearview mirror is Daniel Folds. Now 3 to go, 2 to go. When Kyle Meyer crossed the stripe, there's Tyler Tomasi, where if he can keep the car looking good, then he'll get his 3rd consecutive top 3, which will help him in points. And final lap for Kyle Meyer. He's got to just run this one perfect. Hit his marks, and he'll be the winner.
Just cruising on home like he has for the last 59 laps.
And your winner here at Langley Speedway is going to be the 88 machine of Kyle Meyer.
Daniel Folds 2nd, Tyler Tomasi bringing it home 3rd.
I bet there at the end, the tires were getting very, very hard to control. Wow, that was a pretty tame, clean race. 0 cautions. And so far within these 3 races that we've had so far, only 3 cautions. Oh, and there's fireworks. I thought that was only at Daytona.
I've noticed it a couple more of the iRacing tracks.
Right, I thought I'd heard that only it was Daytona and Charlotte at nighttime there was fireworks, but looks like we got fireworks at Langley too.
We gotta see a tandem burnout here. Yep, they're gonna light them up together.
Yeah, they pull into Dale Lemon's victory lane. Take a look. There we go. And the burnout. Woo! Never seen that before. That is awesome. I mean, both of them put on a show. Daniel Folds had to work a little bit harder, fell down to 4th and made his way back up to 2nd, and they disconnect. So let's go ahead and do our final finishing results. There we go. Kyle Meyer ended up finishing first. 2 seconds behind him was Daniel Folds. 3rd place was Tyler Tomasi. 4th was Blake Stallings. And rounding out your top 5 was Isaiah Gill. Finishing 6th was Zach Wilson. And 7th was Tillman Hewer. Like we have... We're going to take a quick break as we wait for everybody to get into the booth for the interviews. Welcome back, everyone. We are getting set here for the top 3 driver interviews. As we're going to start off by pulling in number 76, Tyler Tomasi. He finished 3rd. Hey, Tyler, this is Atlee and Alex in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
And well, that was a great race. You ended up gaining 2 positions as you started in 5th, making it by Blake Stallings and Isaiah Gill. Couldn't catch Daniel Folds, but still 3rd place was a good performance. What happened here at Langley from your eyes?
Like I said, just top 3 every week, so we did that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, consistency wins championships. You can't argue that. How was the setup? I know there was a lot of talk about the setup kind of being off the mark. What'd you think of it?
I want to know who iRacing hires to make these things. Like, you have to be with your eyes crossed and driving a station wagon to ever think that thing would ever be able to turn a lap in real life. You'd get lapped about 27 times. Like, I don't know where they would ever think that's a good setup. The gear's completely wrong. The tires are driving like street stock tires. I mean, I don't even understand how anybody who they hire to make these things would ever think that's raceable. Like, no car drives like that unless you don't know what you're doing. So that's all I have to say about that.
Big fan of it. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of drivers were complaining about it, but still, 3rd place, pretty good. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Tomasi Law Associates, RLS Performance, and Caddick Title Company. Next week, I sadly won't be able to race because I'll be away, but see you in 2 weeks.
You have a drop week, so that's good. So hopefully we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Go ahead and pull in 2nd place, Daniel Foltz. Hey, Daniel, this is Atlee and Alex in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Wow, so you were very, very consistent. You ended up falling, though, to 4th on that start just because you were on the high side and the inside's definitely the preferred line here at Langley. But you ended up making your way back up to 2nd, where you ended up starting and had a pretty good race. What happened here from your point of view here at Langley?
Struggled to get a hang of the setup and practice. Finally got it down pretty decent. Laid down a pretty good time behind my teammate Kyle. Uh, like you said, started on the outside. Fell back to fourth. Couldn't find a hole down. Get in the low line. Was patient. Worked my way back up to 2nd, about halfway, and just kind of settled in for the ride.
That's what you gotta do. We did have some complaints, and a lot of people didn't like this setup here at Langley. What were your thoughts on it?
It could have been better. I mean, I don't know um, who makes the iRacing setups, but definitely could have been better. Doesn't have any roll speed in it. It's kind of like driving a dump truck up a muddy hill. I mean, you just can't do anything with it. I mean, it was pretty raceable as long as you could have good throttle control on the corner exit and get the power laid down. But it wasn't terrible, but it could be better.
That's very true. But overall, good race. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Just teammate Kyle, we've been working on the super lates for a little bit, getting ready for Sarah. Got my brother James and a few other guys as part of Trifolds Racing. We got a pretty good group, good drivers, and excited to see where things go.
Right. Well, good luck next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and we got our winner in the booth now. Kyle, this is Atlee and Alex in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, well, that was a great race. You led all 60 laps. You just jumped out to a good lead and cruised from there. What happened here at Langley from your eyes?
I just tried to get in the rhythm early and stay in the rhythm. That's about all you could do with that.
Yeah, and I think the thing was here the setup. I mean, what were your thoughts on this Langley Speedway super late setup?
It was very temperamental. You could miss it by half a car length, and you completely missed the corner. And if you didn't have good throttle control, you weren't going to go nowhere.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be what everybody was thinking here with this super late model setup, but still overall a great race by you. Again, led every single lap. And anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I just gotta thank James, Daniel, all the Trifold boys. Just trying to get some laps in at some tracks that we know will probably be on the Sarah schedule. And that's about it. And y'all for putting this on.
Well, we're glad that you could make it out and put on a great show tonight, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.
Yes, sir.
Well, that was a really good race here at Langley Speedway. Again, dominating it was Kyle Meyer, led all 60 laps. But still, overall, a good race. No cautions. And we'll sign it out right here. Thank you, everyone, for watching this race here on Intensity Broadcasting. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. As on Facebook, we're actually trying to get to 1,000 by April 27th. That's our goal, and I think we can do that as a racing and iRacing community. So, that done, make sure to follow Intensity Broadcasting, and hopefully stay tuned because we do have the iRacing Oval Series Truck Series, and that's going to be coming up in just a couple minutes. So make sure to turn your notifications on so you get notified when we post and start to go live, and tune into that. And then on Thursday, we're going to have, once again, as I mentioned before, the first ever dirt broadcast in Intensity Broadcasting history, and that's going to be with the Dirt Car Series. So make sure also to stay tuned and turn on your notifications for that if you are a fan of dirt racing. Hopefully we'll see you there. I'm Atlee at Manwees. Thank you for watching. Over and out.